Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Math Podcast. For today, we're going to talk about the Man City game, Tottenham Man City game yesterday. Start off with brilliant result. 2-0 against City at the Etihad. And don't get me wrong, it's not like last year's performance, but I don't know, the scoreline says it was a worse game, but I think the way we played was much more dominant, much more just it felt much better than last time because there were still cracks where in the defence, especially in the midfield, there were cracks there last year in the game, which were absolutely just not there this time. So I guess we'll start with Tottenham's squad. Go from player to player. Start off with, I think man of the match was Palhinha, personally. I know Sarr got given man of the match. Don't get me wrong, Sarr was probably the third best player on the pitch. So does he deserve it? Yes, but do I think he was the best on the pitch? No, but I'm not going to complain with it. Sarr was also very good. But no, Palhinha was brilliant. Tackles galore. I mean, he was just, it was all round very well. Yeah, I mean, 23 out of 27 passes, 85% accuracy. When a City player got the ball, he's getting it back. He's going down to ground, getting the ball back in that. He was just very well. He was very, very good. The rest of the midfield was just perfect, I think. Sarr, Bentancur and Palhinha, just really tight midfield, did not allow Cherky or whoever the others on City are, didn't let them through as much, and they had to resort to the wings, and the midfield was probably the best part of that game. It's very solid. I'm liking how Frank is definitely growing and developing that midfield, as last season with Ange we didn't really see any good really out of the midfield last season. But no, we're definitely seeing Sarr become prime Sarr, really. Palhinha as well is definitely growing into the Tottenham team really quickly. He's growing into Thomas Frank's style of play really quickly, and I think that was really good. Bentancur again was really good. I think sometimes his passes were a bit sloppy. He didn't really think or look or anything like that. Every time he gets the ball back, he then just instantly just thinks he has to hit it away from him, even if there's no danger near him. And that's led to City easily getting the ball out or getting a throw in or whatever. So he definitely needs to work on where he's passing. Other than that, that's the only critique I've got for him in the midfield. But overall, midfield was solid. Defence, Vicario, solid in goal. The Marmoush save was brilliant. I was half expecting him to score it, but no, well done Vicario for that. He's done well there, because probably last season he probably would have let that in. But no, he definitely played very, very well. 8.1 rating, I think, is very deserved. But very, very good. Back line was solid. We're definitely seeing one of the best centre back defensive partnerships in the league. Especially as at Tottenham as a whole. Alderweireld and Vertonghen were really good, but Van de Ven and Romero are slowly becoming that really, really good partnership in the back line, and they play so well together. And not even just together, on their own they're really good. The block with Doku running down on the wing, and then passing it to Foden, and then Van de Ven just slides right into to block it. It was really good from him. I think his rating was very much lower than it should have been. But no, he's very solid at the back. Romero was doing Romero things. To be fair, and it's nice to see he's growing mentality wise, and he's not as just aggressive all the time. When Richarlison had his little thing with I think it was Nico Gonzalez. He was the one to break him apart. Yes, he's the captain. It's sort of his job. He has to do that, but he definitely is doing much better when it comes to not losing his head as much. That's the thing with Richarlison. That game, he really lost it a lot, I think. So he needs to work on that. But yeah, no, two centre backs very good. Spence was doing Spence things. He was just defending well. There was that moment of Van de Ven Spence on the on the left, like on in our half, where Van der Ven probably should have cleared it, but he passed it to Spence. Spence lost it, but maybe a little bit more communication there would do. But other than that, solid. Porro very good. Just keep on balls into the very good crosses into the box. Very good. And very good to always get to Richarlison. And yes, Richarlison couldn't get a proper connection on it to maybe threaten Trafford in goal, but he's getting a connection on it. Whatever. It's showing still some promise of, as long as Richarlison keeps working on that, then if that keeps on happening, 2-3 goals getting scored just from Porro and Richarlison alone. Porro very good. Kudus was good. I don't think he was as good when he was against Burnley. I think probably because, City are a much harder team to play against. And I think Kudus obviously didn't really have much of a, he had a chance, but it was more difficult for him to do the stuff he did against Burnley, against City. But other than that, he was still good. Still showing his strength on the ball, off the ball. Nothing to complain about him there. Brennan Johnson. It's Johnson again, isn't it? Doing what he did last season, just getting on one end and just tapping it in. It was a bit more difficult than just tapping this time. He had to sort of beat the defender. Diaz or Stein, I don't know which one it was. But no, he did very well for that goal. Do I think it's offside? Absolutely not. It's maybe when you see it for the first time you're like, ooh, but no, it's much not as close as it looks really. But no, completely onside. Very good goal. Nice play from Richarlison. I think Sarr's the one that knocked the ball onto Richarlison for the run. And then finally with Richarlison, he was very good. Like I said before, he's losing his head a bit too much, and he needs to work on his heading ability from Porro's balls in. But other than that, solid. 2 goals and an assist in the first 2 games. You can't complain with that. It's definitely on track to becoming better than he has been the last. Well, just for how long he's been at Tottenham. I touched on the Johnson goal already. The Palhinha goal. Was it lucky? Absolutely. Trafford and I don't know who the hell the guy was he passed it to, but that was definitely a miscommunication on both ends, on both of them. It was a terrible ball, a terrible pass, I think, but also the defender could have positioned himself a bit better. Other than that, Richarlison, I don't know, felt a bit sloppy when he had the ball. I thought Richarlison was going to be the one to score it, to be honest, but no, and then obviously Trafford did get a touch on it with his hand, and it then fell to Palhinha and he scored. Definitely lucky, especially with the Trafford assist technically. But a very good goal from Palhinha. I say good finish. I don't know I know it took one deflection. I don't know if it took 2 or 3, but no, good goal. The goals don't have to be flashy. They just have to go in. That's all that matters. If we scored 6 tap-ins and we beat City 6-0, I don't care. It's 6 goals. It doesn't matter what the goal is. I think Haaland was definitely just didn't show at all that game. I think when he first joined City, he was very good, and I don't know, after last season, and don't get me wrong, he does know how to score goals and goals and goals. But watching him that game, he was even there. There was no threat from that City side whatsoever. Though there wasn't much of a threat from us either. We were only really threatening with the 2 goals we scored, and the hold up play was very good. The pressure on the back line and the goalkeeper was very, very good from Richarlison, Kudus, Johnson, all them lot. They did very well, especially Sarr running up a bit more. He is playing more of a number 10 role, because Maddison's not there. But no, very good pressure on that. But don't get me wrong, it's City. They're gonna have majority of possession. You're not gonna really have much of a opportunity to pose a threat. But we pose a threat when it mattered, and that's all that does matter. I mean, I could touch on the bench, but I didn't do much really because didn't really need to. I mean, at half time, game was wrapped. I mean, City didn't. They didn't adapt to the game at all. They whatever Pep said in the changing rooms didn't. Well, clearly didn't bloody apply. Another thing I want to touch on is post match. No, not post match. Halftime interviews. I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life because, I mean, imagine your team is 2-0 up at half time. They've interviewed your manager and he said it's really good and all this whatever. And then the second half you could concede 3 and you lose the game at the end. Like, I don't know. It just feels like it's really stupid. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they have or are going to do half-time interviews with players. I really hope they don't because I just feel that's going to be just not good. But yeah, I guess we'll find out soon. I guess. Definitely. The big elephant in not the room, but at Tottenham is the whole Eze thing. Obviously, he's gone Arsenal now. I think it's pathetic from Levy. I think all he had to do was pay the 70 odd million or whatever Arsenal paid. As long as he paid that and stopped being, oh, we need to save money. We've got enough money. I'm sure of it. We make so many million per game, plus plus everything we do with that stadium and the way we, the last few seasons, we've not bought anyone big in. Probably the most we've spent was 40, 50 mil, probably. I don't know. I can't remember. But, that means we've got so much money left. We're a big club with a lot of money. There's no need to try and save money when you don't need to. Yeah. We have spent quite a bit. We've spent more this window, especially I don't know, what was it, 50, 60 mil on Kudus. But if you're going to spend that on Kudus, why not spend 70 on Eze? Don't get me wrong, you do want to go in to pay the least amount so you can still have money. But I just think pay it. Eze would be fantastic at Tottenham. I don't think he's going to do well at Arsenal because I don't think they're going to play him. Though Odegaard, I think, did get injured yesterday, so I guess that is where Eze will play next week, I guess. Or whenever. No, yeah, next week, yeah. But he's not going to get as much game time as he would at Tottenham. I mean, don't get me wrong, if we still had Maddison, honestly, I don't know if Maddison does get in. Well, definitely not the number 10 role anyway, and Eze would definitely play there. But he'd play every game, not every minute, but every game, this season, especially Champions League and all that. I think what we've shown in the past 3 games of the season, which I am including the PSG game, is we can play against these top teams, like I said in that video. If we can do that and we can continuously play that, and we're seeing consistency. Don't get me wrong, it's been 2 games in the league, so there's I can't really say we've been consistent, but we've been consistent in terms of when we play a team, we don't just give up or we don't just get overwhelmed. We just play our hearts out and we just fight until that last whistle's blown. Which if we can do that, our Champions League run will be quite more successful than people will think, yeah? And then if Eze did come in, I mean, genuinely, I think we've got a good chance of definitely getting top 4. But after the performances I've seen the last 2 games, and yes, one was against Burnley, but then the yesterday one was against Man City. Don't get me wrong, City are in trouble the past 2 seasons. They've not played very well, but they're still a big team and they still know how to beat other big teams. They beat Madrid last season. No, they lost to Madrid last season. But they still put up a fight against teams like Real Madrid and others, I think, but if we can beat a team like that and do it continuously, I think we've got a really, really good shot at winning the league. Genuinely, I mean, yes, it's 2 games in and one was against just a newly promoted team that's probably going to go back down at the end of the season. But I think if we maintain this not style of play, because it will change every single game depending on the opponent. But if we continue playing well, getting 3 points, getting a draw there, and then on games where a draw we'd be happy with, genuinely that league, I think we are huge. Obviously, we're underdogs for it, but I think we're more than that. I think we've got a really big chance of winning that. I think this season, Liverpool. I mean, still Liverpool. I mean, you'd say Liverpool would be challenging for the league. I mean, don't get me wrong; they'll be challenging for top four. Absolutely. Will they get top four? Absolutely. But they really showed their cracks in that Bournemouth game, and don't get me wrong, Bournemouth are still a decent side, and they're much better than they are known to be. But Liverpool's defensive work has so many cracks in it, unlike our defence, where yes, sure, we let players through and whatever, but have we conceded yet this season in the league? No. Don't get me wrong. Will we concede in the league? Of course we will. And will we lose a game this season? Of course, probably. We'll probably lose to Leeds or Sunderland or something. But the main thing to take away from it is Liverpool's got those cracks. They're not. If they don't develop on those, then the league's going to be difficult for them to win. If we continue and not have any big injuries and continue to stay solid in defence, the midfield's doing well, the attack's still scoring goals, then that league, it's going to be quite easy, I think, if we continue like this. I think once we play Arsenal in December, I think it is, if we beat them, I think it really shows what we can do this season, because Arsenal, the last time we beat Arsenal was 3-4 years ago. Harry Kane was still here when we beat Arsenal last. We're always losing against Arsenal because Arsenal just always know when to turn up against us. Don't get me wrong, it's a big game. Both teams want to win it, but if we show that we can win that, then I don't see why not. We can't just why Tottenham fans can't just say, you know what, we're winning the whole thing. Why not? Have some positivity for once, because this whole for the last few years, there's been so many negatives. I mean, last season we won the Europa League, and there's still so many negatives to take away from that season. I mean, we finished 17th in the league, which is our lowest position in the league ever. If it was any other season, we'd be in the Championship right now. But that's last season. That's the past. Don't even need to think about that. I think we can laugh about it now because we got 17th. We won more than Arsenal. That's all we've got to take away from that. I think we won more than so many other teams. We won more than City. We won more than, I think, a bigger. If just play like we've been playing the last two games, and we can still, as long as we win the one out of the two games against every single team, at least we can show we can beat anyone. I think definitely the PSG game showed we can really beat anyone. We have the capability of beating a team like PSG. They won the UCL. They're the best in Europe, and yes, they're not the best in the world technically. Chelsea are, but Club World Cup don't matter. No one really cared for it. I don't think anyone really tried. Because who cares? Are people still raving about the Club World Cup now? No. I don't think I've even seen Chelsea fans raving about it because no one cares about it. It's a terrible competition. So we've gone up against technically the second best team in the world, and we dominated them for the entire game. For the entire game. Yes, we were sloppy and conceded two, but we dominated them. If we can do that against Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and then why not? Why can't we say we're going to win the league? There'll be Arsenal fans, there'll be Chelsea fans, they'll all be saying, "Well, why do you think you can win the league just because you beat, City?" It's not about who you beat. It's about how you play to beat them and how you beat them. And how we beat City was just enough for City to just not be able to do anything against us. They couldn't do anything. Sure, I think City had four shots on target. Yeah, but realistically, the only big shot, the big threatening shot they had was that Marmoush one, which Vicario saved really well. Other than that, they're just long shots that aren't going to go anywhere. Because Vicario, it's easy for him, and it's easy for most keepers. I'd hope, but I don't know. I just think definitely keep the consistency. Go on and win the league. Shut everyone up. Genuinely. I think my biggest things I want to take away from this season is beat Arsenal, beat Chelsea, and beat Liverpool at Anfield, because I think the players, the coaches, everyone, that the entire club are out there looking to make a statement, not even in England and the league, just in Europe and the world, and tell everyone we can win the biggest things. We can play against, we can compete against the biggest teams like PSG, City and all that. We can do it. But yeah, I think that's definitely a big point. I think that's all I really want you to take away from this. The performance against City was good. We've got Bournemouth next Saturday, I think it is, or next Sunday. Confident again for that. Obviously, I'm going to be confident for most games until we show our cracks. Will we show cracks in any way? Yes, probably. There's always going to be cracks with any team. Yeah, there were still cracks with Leverkusen when they went invincible in the league. Or that entire season when the only game they lost was against Atalanta in the Europa League final, which Lookman just annihilated them. But I mean, yeah, that's just continue playing like this, and Tottenham fans were all happy. The only thing I don't like about the club at the moment is Levy. I just think the whole Eze transfer situation was a bit of a mess. But if we can get Savinho in, which we are trying to apparently, then get him in, then even more of a chance to win something big. FA Cup, League, UCL even. But yeah, I think that'll do for today. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you probably next week on the for the Bournemouth game. Maybe there'll be a video in the week. Maybe if I can slot that in, I don't know. Trying to do a video of just videos that aren't about games and just talk overall football. Bundesliga, still the Prem, whatever. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next week after the Bournemouth game. Comment below any thoughts, and I will see you later. Goodbye.